Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Ask an Actuary. This is a show where we try to make sense of all those complicated retirement and benefit topics so that you guys don't have to. I'm Stephanie Irvin, and today we're joined by Francis Fraine, our Director of Operations and an actuarial consultant here at Odyssey Advisors. Francis, thanks for joining me today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So, today we're going to be jumping into a really important topic when it comes to 401k plans, employer matches. So, first things first, Francis, do you mind explaining what exactly a 401k match is?
Sure. So most people are probably going to be mostly aware of it, but it's basically just companies will have a certain percentage that they match of your contributions. So let's say, for example, you put in 6% of your pay, maybe your employer will match that up to 25%. So effectively, if you put in 6% of your pay, they'll put in an additional 1.5% of your pay. Usually as simple as that. Sometimes it gets a little bit more convoluted, but that's what most people are going to see from their employers.
You mentioned something earlier that caught my attention. You said that you've seen a situation where someone maxed out their annual contribution, but almost missed out on part of their employer match. Can you explain how that happens?
Yeah, so what they were doing, luckily they called us in like February, but his plan, and it was pretty reasonable plan from the get, was just, hey, I'm still living at home. I'm piling away money right now. I'll just, contribute the maximum that I can by July, and then boom, I'll be done. When I move out, then I'll have stopped contributing, so I'll have all this extra cash to pay for rent and all that stuff. But the thing is that if he did that, he would have stopped getting the match because he wouldn't have been contributing anymore.
Oh, that makes sense. So
Yeah,
you could definitely leave some money on the table. And I've never even thought about that before. It's definitely a good scenario to bring up for everyone.
yeah. Well, it's a good scenario to be in that you can, because I think he was putting about 50% of his pay away at the time. So
Wow.
good situation to be in where you can feasibly do that and survive.
Yeah, absolutely. But you don't want to miss out on that free money for sure.
No, no, definitely not.
So, how can people avoid this issue?
So two things. If you're with an employer that just trues up at the end of the year, then you're fine. You could just ask them if they do that, because a lot of employers, what they'll do is at the end of the year they'll look and say, okay, you put aside X amount of dollars, you should get your full match, and you'll get it at the end of the year. But if you're not, then you can kind of try to divide it over the year so that you hit the contribution limit on your last paycheck. Now, one thing you have to consider is if you get raises or bonuses throughout the year that are eligible for contributions, you're going to want to have to monitor that over the year and make adjustments as needed. Also, and this is largely uncommon, but a lot of employers will have non-qualified plans as well. That's kind of a different can of worms in terms of how protected those contributions are. But just in general, if they have a non-qualified plan, if you make a certain amount of money over the comp limit, then once you've contributed the max to your 401k, that stops, but then the non-qualified plan picks up. And usually the non-qualified plan will contribute as much match as the 401k.
Thanks so much, Francis, for walking us through that. And thank you to everyone watching for tuning in. If you have any more questions, retirement benefits, or anything actuarial related, drop them in our comments below or send us a message. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss an episode of Ask an Actuary. Until next time, take care.
Thank you very much for having me.